Believe it or not, dealerships lose money every single day selling cars.
We were not told. We were not given a Carfax.
September was probably the hardest months for independent and franchise dealers, as we have seen a 12% decline in used and new vehicle sales from last year.
Car dealerships used to be a place you walked into with hope. Now it feels like you're walking straight into a financial ambush. Dealers are ripping people off left and right, handing out interest rates that make no sense, jacking up prices, adding fees that sound made up, and locking everyday people into loans they can barely breathe through. And the wild part? They're doing it to the people who can afford it the least: students, young workers, anyone just trying to get to class or get to their shift without their car falling apart. These dealerships act shocked when the whole industry starts collapsing, but what do they expect? Customers aren't dumb anymore. The trust is gone. People are tired of getting quoted a great deal only to walk out with a payment bigger than their rent. And now we're seeing the fallout. Dealerships shutting down, entire lots cleared out, stores closing one after another because the profits they use to squeeze out of people just aren't there anymore. When your entire business model is built on taking advantage of the community, eventually the community stops showing up. This isn't just a few bad apples. This is an industry that played greedy for too long, and now the consequences are hitting them in the hundreds of millions. And honestly, a lot of people aren't sad to see it happen. Hopefully, the collapse forces real transparency, real fairness, and real accountability, because buying a car shouldn't feel like signing your life away. Check out some of these videos.
There's a huge car dealership down in Indiana caught up in a scandal right now where a college student won a free car in a contest, but the dealership refused to give it to him. And the internet is, of course, furious about it, and you'll see why. It's a bunch of BS. This all started at the season opening game at Purdue University. They held their Kicks for Cash contest, as they do every year, where a student has to kick 3 consecutive field goals in under 30 seconds. If they do, they win a free 2-year car lease from a local dealership. Rohrman Automotive Group, a large dealer network down in Indiana, sponsors the event and provides the car to the winners. This year, this student named Zachary Spangler actually won the competition and kicked all 3 field goals to win the car. He became the second student to ever win this contest and also a college town hero for the weekend. But unfortunately, Rohrman was not going to let that happen. For whatever reason, they decided to review the tape of Zachary winning this contest. Unfortunately, it isn't all public, but I have some screenshots here. They decided that Zach actually missed making the last field goal by a fraction of a second, meaning he didn't actually win the contest. When Rohrman told Zach and the university about this, the internet went crazy. And thankfully, after receiving waves of backlash and hate, Rohrman decided to award Zach with his free car. So eventually Rohrman gave Zach his free 2-year lease, but not before destroying their brand image. I'm curious what you guys think. Was this another case of a dealership being extremely greedy and finding any reason not to give a kid a free car? Or did they actually find something in this private footage that we haven't been able to find?
Believe it or not, dealerships lose money every single day selling cars. Now, I'm not saying every single deal is a loss. Obviously, we wouldn't still be in business if that was the case. But I have seen some crazy negative dollar amounts. Today, I'm going to tell you about the biggest loss that I have seen in the car industry to date. This did not take place at the store I'm currently at. This is one of my previous dealerships, and the car it was on was kind of crazy. The car that we lost the insane amount of money on was this. No, not the pretty blue C8 sitting right there, but the one sitting next to it. That's a 64 Corvette. Now, if you're a Corvette hobbyist like I am, you know that 64 was kind of an off year with the mid-year models. 63 included the split window, which was obviously huge. They're very valuable today. And in 65, they started doing 4-wheel disc brakes. 64 is kind of in between that. It's still drum brakes, no split window. The only thing this car had going for it was that it was a 4-speed. I don't know exactly what they paid for this car. I know it was $90,000 and something. It was just an insane amount of money for this car. As far as those Corvettes go, the mid-years 63 to 67, the most valuable out of all of them are going to be the 67 L88 cars, which go for millions. They only made 20 of them. Second to that, probably the 67 big blocks, the 427 cars, and after that, the 63 split window coupes. This car is the least valuable of all the mid-year cars and probably shouldn't have been over $50,000. This car sat in that dealership showroom for months. Finally, they put me on it because I'm a Corvette hobbyist. I work at a Ford store and I'm a Corvette guy, and that's weird, I know. But they finally put me on it to say, hey, find somebody to buy this car, please. Said, okay, cool. I couldn't find anybody. Nobody wants to spend 90 grand on a 64. That's just how it is. Finally, one day we get a phone call from this gentleman who exports cars to France. He said, I'll pay you 65. They took it. You can do the math on that way. Say it was 95,000 minus $65,000. That is the biggest loss I have ever seen a car dealership take in all my days. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Let me know if you want to hear any more Corvette fun facts or anything. Believe me, I'm loaded with them. And follow me for more content like this at Spittin' Bars Selling Cars.
What would you do if a major car dealership screwed you on a car that you bought 2 years ago and failed to disclose that had been in a major accident where airbags had been deployed? And this is in Tennessee, where that's actually illegal to not disclose that information. Background story: we bought this car in January of 2022. My dream car, loved it. We paid over $50,000 for it. Luxury vehicle, right? Okay, so we bought this car. We're there. We're like, oh, the car's in pristine shape. 17,000 miles. This is great. What about accidents? Has there ever been a wreck? Nope, no wrecks. No. Reputable luxury car dealership. Okay, I keep wanting to point that out. So today we go to trade in said car because, you know, I'm tired of it. It's got like a lot of weird, quirky things that I don't really like, and I'm done with it, and it's just time for a new car. So I go to trade it in, and they come back and they're like, oh, sorry, we can't give you what you wanted to get. It's going to actually be about like 7,000 or 8,000 less because, you know, the car accident where the airbags deployed. And I'm like, no. What are you talking about? There's been no accident where the airbags deployed. Yeah, no. What are you talking about? Oh, looks like it was in March of 2022. Oh, really? Because we purchased it in January of 23. So, we were not told. We were not given a Carfax. We've contacted the dealership, and they know we're coming Monday. They all but begged us to come in Monday to try to figure out what they can do to help us. But they want to give us, like the low amount the other car dealership want to give us too. So in the state of Tennessee, that's actually illegal. You cannot sell somebody a car knowing that it has been in a car accident and not disclosing that. It's fraudulent, and it goes against the Tennessee Consumer Protection Agency. And so what would you do? Would you go into the car dealership Monday and be like, you're going to buy the whole thing back because this was deceitful, this was illegal, and you're going to buy the whole thing back, the $56,000 that I spent. Plus, I want to be refunded for the warranties, the extended warranties that I also purchased too. Or would you go and you'd be like, I just want the difference in, you know, what you owe me. So we thought we would get about $33,000 for the car. They come back at like $24,000. So would you ask for the difference? Now, I do want to go ahead and throw out there that if we had to go to court or there were any kind of legal situations here, if they're found guilty where they willingly sold us this car knowing it had been an accident, they would actually have to pay us triple the damages plus the attorney fees. I don't want to go that far. I want to get rid of this car. I don't want it anymore. Like, it is tainted now. Like, I don't want it. But like, what would you do in your situation Monday morning at the car dealership? What would you demand from them? Because what the crap? Like, who does this? Who does this to somebody? What the crap? I do also want to say we were not given the Carfax. We don't know anything about it. We also don't have our paperwork, so I can't really, I don't know. Do you sign a Carfax when there's like an accident that bad that when you buy the car? I don't really know. Anyways, there were no Carfax. We had no idea this car had been in an accident. Like, I was like full on ready to fight this girl when she said that like it had been an accident where airbags were involved. And I'm like, no, what? Anyways, we would have never spent $56,000 on a vehicle that had been in a collision where airbags had been deployed. Like, at that point where we would be like, no. I mean, we wouldn't have purchased it ourselves, whether the price was lower or not. We would not have bought that. We were also looking at a different luxury car, and we probably would have gone with that one. So it's really just sad and very disappointing, and I don't know. I'll update you. Okay, this is it. I have actually reached out to Carfax to try to see if they will tell me if the Carfax were pulled on that day we purchased the car. I have the copy of the Carfax now that they gave me from the dealership today, but I would actually like to know if they even pulled the Carfax on the day that we purchased the car. So I'm really hoping Carfax will help me out there, because I'm not just trying to get somebody else's information. This is my vehicle that I purchased, and I would really like to know if the dealership just totally ripped us off or not.
September was probably the hardest months for independent and franchise dealers, as we have seen a 12% decline in used and new vehicle sales from last year and 18% decline in passenger car sales respectively from September 2023. Car prices are still expensive. Car insurance rates are still high. Vehicle interest rates are still high. Coupled with high pressure sales expectations from dealerships, we are coming to a very pivotal point and whether or not we're going to see a drastic change on the downside when it comes to used and new vehicle prices and interest rates. U.S. auto sales down 12.3% in September, and respectively from last year of 2023 in September, we're seeing an 18% decline in sales when it comes to passenger vehicles and 10.9% decline when it comes to trucks and SUVs. And we're seeing sales declines for most makes and models. Wholesale prices and wholesale values have also declined these last couple of months more than any other month in this year. We're talking about 10% year over year decline in wholesale value. And the reason for this is because retail units are continuing to sit at dealership lots longer and longer. So if retail units are starting to sit longer, that means that dealerships aren't necessarily going to go buy auction units to retail. There has to be an adjustment when it comes to trade-in values or what you are going to expect to get for your car. Because if wholesale values decline, that means what your car is worth will decline as well. Which honestly, I think is a good thing. I'm not saying that because I'm a dealer. I'm saying that because if we start adjusting our expectations when it comes to wholesale and understanding that dealerships are paying over what cars are worth to make the deal, that inevitably is going to affect someone at some point, and it's affecting the consumer. So I think that at some point, wholesale values will have to start correcting even more for us to have an even stronger understanding of what the market will do. No surprise if you follow me, I've been giving you guys car insights, behind the scenes, auction prices, retail prices, car inventory, advice on how to get the best deal for new and used vehicles and whatnot. So it's no surprise right now that vehicle inventory is super high. There have been multiple news sources coming out every single month about the increase in inventory levels, which is not an issue. Right now, the issue is turning over that inventory. And a lot of my videos will showcase how crazy the car market has been in 2021, 2022 during COVID, where people were buying into these crazy inflated cars with crazy inflated prices, crazy inflated interest rates, and at some point they had to get out of it, so they're letting it either get repoed or they're trying to find an incentive or a lease or some way to roll over their crazy amounts of negative equity into a high interest loan for another 4 to 5 years or a lease. This is why the electric vehicle sentiments have improved this last quarter. I believe one could make an argument stating that the incentives for EV vehicles have been significantly higher than that of any other car, and so people are able to roll over their negative equity into an electric vehicle because of the rebates and of the incentives. I said this before and I said it again. At some point, it's going to give. Now, I believe that short term, this may benefit the consumer because now we are seeing more news coverage about vehicle sales declining, both new and used. You can probably get a great deal at a dealership if you are allowing dealers to compete with one another, or you take your time and research and find a vehicle that has been sitting on a lot for 3, 4, 5, 6 months and come in really aggressively and come prepared and come with something that the dealer can work with. Now, I'm not necessarily promising you that you'll get a deal, but at the end of the day, numbers are numbers, and dealerships want to turn over a car, whether that means they're going to break even, lose money, or make money. This may benefit you.